People are messaging me, being like, "Am I doing something wrong?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Okay. Technical
Those posters
difficulty
work,
on a
man.
Friday. It's just what
There was
happens.
Jody. There was like 500 views and likes on those posters. A lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I go crazy when
Okay.
I
Well,
try to
while
do
we
that.
wait, Patrick, while we wait for people to join us, we just drink coffee and hang out.
We don't say anything.
Yeah. We don't wait now. We're waiting for people to join us. We're live. We're
Oh,
hanging out. We're waiting.
excuse me. I won't speak to you. Pardon me.
No, you can speak to me. You're hilarious. It feels like a Monday on a Friday. It's just everything that
Oh
wanted to be
yeah,
challenging
yeah.
today was
Oh
challenging
God,
today.
I was trying to do this video last night, and oh my God, every time I got to the end, it wouldn't let me download. I was like, no. It's very frustrating
Yeah,
technology.
it's
Oh, there's
just
every. Huh?
yeah,
Oh,
this
who's that?
technology world. Helen, Cheryl, Kathy, hi.
Oh, is
As you
Teresa
join
here?
us, say hello in the comments. Let us know you're hanging out with us this morning. We're a little bit late. We apologize. It's
Yeah.
my and my computer's fault. Patrick
Don't
got
worry,
up
Teresa. It
so
wasn't
early.
you. It wasn't you. Technically challenged. We were a bit late, so I hope you're still there.
Yeah,
Look at, I got notes and everything,
it
Jody.
is. People know. Sometimes we're
I've
late.
got notes and everything.
I love this. This is good. You're going to school us today, and this is exactly why I wanted you on.
I
We're
often
here to
think about
learn.
my. I should have went into broadcasting, but I've been doing quite a bit with CTV, so
Yeah, I've seen that.
they were a savior to me, man. If they didn't take me on, my career would have died after
Yeah,
I got kicked out of Nashville.
yeah.
Keep that
Well,
in
thank
mind.
goodness they did.
Well, you know
you're,
what?
you're such a badass.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm what?
Such a
Thanks.
badass, I said.
Well, I'm like I never knew I would be a human rights activist, but that's my life now. That's what I do, right?
Yeah,
It's very I take it very very seriously.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges in the music industry right now with the grants, and I've been like bark 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 for 15 years about this, and it
yeah,
needs to change,
yeah.
and it is finally.
Good, good, good. All right. Well, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. We do this Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. ish Mountain Standard Time. Fridays, of course, are Fun Friday, where we get to meet a brand new guest, another friend that we bring into our wonderful club. And every Friday this month, we have been having a Pride Month thing. The internet hates me today.
You're cutting out.
Are we good?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's you're kind of a bit
Patrick
spotty, but I
froze
think
with a very discerned look on his face. Do you see that? You look very
I think it's
serious. There you
that's
are.
freezing, not me.
Hey, buddy. Sometimes technology
I'm.
is not our
I
friend.
think it's me that's
So let
freezing
me
though.
know if
Yeah,
you're watching where we're at.
you're cut. You're.
Are we frozen? Are we live? Are we good? Did Patrick freeze?
I'm still here. Can everybody? Can somebody say if they can hear me? Because I think Jody is the one cutting out. I'm not sure.
I don't know why. I'm
Somebody
looking
message.
online. Patrick, if you're not frozen,
What?
carry the show.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not frozen, so I'm going to take over this virtual coffee club for today. And it's a pleasure to be here. I've known Jody Seeley for oh gosh, I don't many years. She was one of the I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with my story, but I came out in country music in the early 2000s and pretty much lost everything for it. And Jody has been an ally to me for many years, had me on her show, and I have a lot of respect for her, and she's a dear friend. And when she asked me to take this on, and come and talk about the issues that are facing specifically the LGBTQ2 plus 2I communities. It's kind of become my life, and I never really thought it would be, but when I came out in country music, that's sort of what went down. And so, yeah, I'm sort of a champion of any marginalized person. And I'm kind of at the point in my life where I will no longer tolerate people that do not think that every human on this planet has that is their inherent right to be accepted, who and how they are. That's why they were put here, and that's what this is all about, people. So it's like we got to start respecting people more and stop trying to limit people. And there's a lot of things that are we've gotten a lot further ahead in a lot of aspects, but we have a long way to go. And we're at a don't you think, Jody, we're at a changing point in humanity right now. Like it is like people are like no more, you know? Like, do you not agree? Like there's
Yeah.
7.5 billion humans here. We're all unique entities. Who is anybody to tell any other human, as long as they're not harming somebody, what to do, who to be, or what to do, or like it's who what gives them the
Yeah.
authority, you know?
Nothing. And we have to love each other. And that's what these
Yeah,
conversations are about. And I'm so glad. Sorry
yeah.
I had an issue and ducked out, but thanks for just
Oh
carrying
yeah,
on.
sure.
You're like my new sidekick.
It's not my first rodeo. Although
So
I
I
wouldn't
don't
have been at
know.
that one in Alberta. That's all I gotta say. No, 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 no.
Yeah, exactly. No. So I don't know if you shared in when I was rebooting here, but
Mhm,
so obviously you were sharing that you came out in country music. Did you say when?
mhm. Yeah, it was the early 2000s. I was offered, I won't say the record company because I don't believe in, but it was a major, I mean, who discovered all the major country stars. It was about a $3 million record deal, and it was going through down, and then there was this, and I was, I think, 23. I got offered my first deal when I was 14, by the way. So I've been doing this my whole life. And then there was right at
Yeah.
the last 11th hour, they're like, so you have to sign this and you can never come out of the closet. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, so I walked, and
Yeah.
everybody was shocked. They were shocked. They Because so many, and I won't mention who. Some of them have come out since, but a lot of the artists signed those deals, and they denounce
Yeah.
like being gay or lesbian, and I knew, I mean, I've been, was backstage at the Grand Ole Opry since, the mid 90s, and hanging out with everybody, and I don't know if you just saw that picture with me and Porter Wagner. I forgot about that picture. I was like, man, that was like, my buddies, you should be wearing that, you're the gay country. I'm like, well, I'm not that, like, I'm not that gay. But yeah, so I just
You're
kind
like,
of,
come on now. Yeah.
see them around, and and so it just kept kind of trucking along, and then I found when I came out, after it came out. Back then, you remember when you had to turn on the 6 o'clock news or get the morning paper or listen to you on the radio to find out what was going on?
Yeah.
We didn't have these phones. um, the gatekeepers were like, no, 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 we're not letting you in. And I just kept going. So then I found the gay rodeo circuit and did the one in Calgary. And I don't know if you know this, but it's the second largest rodeo circuit in the world. It's huge. And so I started doing those shows. But then the gay community started wanting me to be their poster boy, which wasn't me either. And then they're like, well,
Yeah.
you're not gay enough. And I said, pardon me? Like, seriously? Like, you guys are going to turn on
What's
me?
that mean?
So
Yeah.
I just kept trucking along, and people were always telling me, you can't do that. I'm like, you just watch me. Like, I'm not a person who takes no, but I'm writing a book right now, on my life, a memoir. It's called Living Through Light. And it's starting with me when I got COVID and going backwards. And there's so many things in my career that I totally forgot that I'd done. And one of the funniest things is when I opened for Tammy Wynette, I was 23, I
Yeah.
think. I walked up to her and I said, "This is the only time I'm not the queen. I'm a princess because you're the queen of country." And she started laughing her head off. And it was like, but then I had the flip side of it. Like, I won't say who the program director was, but I was doing the Basics for Babies, the JRFM. You know, they do the Christmas thing every year, and Tamara Stanners, probably know Tamara. She was with Clay St. Thomas on for years, and I could hear the program manager on her cell phone saying, "Why is that effing faggot singing on a radio station?" And I was like, "Wow, like they really hated me," and I didn't know why. It was like, so I just decided that I'm just gonna have to keep going, and I always looked at Katie Lang, always. Like, she came out in 1991, and I always looked at her as a mentor from afar, and I have a lot of respect for her. And she finally is talking to me now after all these years. I was so excited the other day. She liked and replied to my tweet. I was like, she is the queen. So um, it's been an interesting. Are you freezing again, Jody? Oh boy, she is again. No, not again. Are you guys seeing this, her frozen? Can somebody comment? Oh, she's gone again. Well, here we are again. Is anybody chatting? Do I have to hit this button to see? No, nobody is. Is nobody there? Hello? Anybody there? Somebody say hi, please. Hello? Hmm. Maybe it's all around technical problems, but how do I see if there's anybody there? How do I see?
My God, Patrick,
Oh my
this is
God,
making
geez,
me crazy.
is there anybody even there?
I don't
Because I
know
keep
if they took
no
out
answers.
the Wi-Fi in High River today or what the heck's going on.
Picked the wrong day.
I
But
know,
is there anybody
but
there? Because I keep asking and no one's responding.
oh, they are. There's tons of people here.
Oh, there you are. Oh, hey. Oh,
Hey.
just keep going. Okay. Oh, that's nice of you. Well, usually people tell me to shut up. I talk too much.
Not in this
So
coffee club, Patrick. These are people of love here.
oh yes. Well, I wanted, if I may, I wanted to talk a little bit about the pride flag, and I saw that you
Mhm.
saw I posted that thing, but I don't think a lot of people know what Gilbert Baker's intention of the pride flag was. And if you go on, I don't know if you shared it, but it's always if you're going to support the community and you're not part of the community and you're an ally, make sure that you put the pride flag up right. So the red should always be at the top, not the purple. And you start with red is for life, orange is for healing, yellow's for sunshine, green's for nature, and blue's for harmony, and purple's for spirit. So the flag should always be like that. I don't know if you can see that or it's glaring. Or if you can see mine behind with Obama there. Um, so you should really, because a lot of people don't know, and you see their bumper
Mhm.
stickers like
The wrong way.
upside down, and but there's been a lot of contention with the flag changing, and a lot of people of color and other people thought there was ethnicities involved, and the Gilbert's idea was never, it had nothing to do with ethnicity. So they're adding these brown and black to his flag, and like for me, I'm a gay man, right? So I'm a gay man, so when I talk, I'm talking about as a gay man. I'm not trans, I'm not pansexual, I'm not asexual, I'm not non-binary. I'm learning how to help and be better allies to those people in my own community, because I think a lot of people think that when you're gay, you understand all those things. And I don't, because like I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like. I can't be a woman. I couldn't tell you how to be a woman because I'm not. And like I always say, I tried to be straight for 19 years and I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
just because I'm not. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I just hope we can get into a place where we just love each other for who we are, and and let our that that inside, like your radiance of yourself. There's nothing like that. You're the best you there is, and I really hope people think about words, because words hurt people, and especially in my community, the suicide rate every 2.3 minutes. I get young kid, and I get emails from young kids. One I'll never forget said he was in his bedroom with a gun in his mouth, and you saved my life. I heard of you, and then I realized I realized the platform I then had, and
Mhm.
how serious it was, and how I had to act. People, as you know, Jody, there's thousands of people that follow your page. They hang off your every word. You have to be very careful what you say, when you say it, and I take that very close to my heart, because God forbid, like Drake Jensen had a guy who commented on one of his videos, and he had a bad feeling. He called the Edmonton police, and the guy was trying to hang himself in his apartment. Like,
Yeah.
this is it's I don't
Right.
mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we got to get to, there's still a lot of issues with our community and acceptance, and like your guys' provinces, with they're not the most, your leader is not the most open-minded guy right now, so it's it's
Well, and that's why I wanted to have Pride Month conversations, Patrick, is because I think people I think sometimes in fear of saying the wrong thing or using the wrong word, people will then choose to use none at all. And I think no words can be just as
it's the same.
powerful and painful as accidentally using the wrong word. So I wanted to open up the platform to be like, okay,
Yeah.
we don't want to be performative allies. We want to be real allies. And we want to start to feel comfortable in, if people are curious. And I mean, I think sometimes people think they have to understand it. And
No, you
I've
just
said
have to
this on the
you just have
several
to
Fridays. We
accept the
don't have to
person.
understand
No,
anything.
you just have to accept the person. And when you're an ally,
We just
you
have to
ask
love.
the community what they need you to do as an ally. You don't come into a
Yeah.
community and decide what you're going to do. And a lot of people do that, unfortunately. It's like I'm doing panels now with, in the music industry, with, inclusion, diversity, and with the Black Lives Matter. And there was a lot of angry people of color at this one for the Songwriters Association of Canada, and I started getting attacked. And I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, I know my lane here. I'm in country music. I've been in country music for over 20 years, and I'm still not accepted." And I said, "You can't tell me that if Katie and me and Drake and the artists, and it's great, they're three Canadian country artists, took a stand, that Mickey wouldn't be hosting those Academy of Country Music Awards as a Black woman. It was in the name of equality overall." And it's, like now, Jody, I don't know if you know this, but the Canadian Country Music Association has slapped us in the face. They're doing the first Pride, and they didn't invite Katie, me, or Drake Jensen, who basically opened the doors. And it's,
Yeah.
and like, it's not nice. And your own community does that to you sometimes. And you're like, I had a president of Pride tell me this year she can't hire me because I'm white. I'm like, what? But there's
Yeah.
so much contention right now, right? And I don't know how to fix it, but I just said, like you said, I said, listen, I'm here to learn how to be a better ally for you. So you need to let me know what I need to do to help you, because I don't get stopped. I don't get pulled over by the police. I don't get told no, but I still am marginalized as a gay man in society, but I'm still Caucasian, right? And it's a difficult thing to understand, but I think it's all very similar. It's all people aren't being treated equal, period. And every human deserves
Period.
that. Pardon?
Yeah. Well, and I think that my sort of thought in it is that with change comes sometimes large pendulum swings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're kind of in this swing where we're going way over this way. So now it's where you don't have the right color of skin to be hired for said gig because of whatever. It's because the pendulum swing has swung over here. And if we could come back a bit and just be like, what is somebody's heart? What is somebody's soul? And love them regardless of any other piece and move forward that way. But you kind of have to swing
Well, yeah, you do
over to
because
come
it's
back. Does that make
right?
sense?
Yeah, it does, but it's, that's the whole point of it is that it's that bad that, like even with the First Nations, I mean, we grew up a lot on the Squamish Nation because my uncle was married to a First Nations woman. She had 3 daughters, and I remember how horrendous it was back then. And I was like, wow, this isn't normal. Like, how come these people are being forced to live like this? And I'll tell you, when Sam died and my cousin Ginger, I'll never forget that scream in the church. And that's what happened. So it's now the time, like, even, I've been a liberal for years, but like it's been 4 years since the, that inquiry's been done. Nothing's been done. They need to get going on this, and they need to get these things done now. It's, and it's the same thing with, our community. Like, you know, like, do you know that there's still, I've been petitioned in Alberta as well. There's still conversion therapy on the books. It's legal. Did you know that? And
No.
it's still there. And then when those 9 MPs, conservative MPs, stand up and vote against it, that is unacceptable. You know, that kind of stuff. There's no conversation anymore about gay rights or women's rights or Muslims, or like those conversations are done in this country. And the social conservative, and I'm going to use the term wingnuts, need to back off and get off. They need to step off because they're not, they're full of hate and bigotry. None of their things are based on facts. And you want to talk about being Christian. Well, Jesus only ever judged hypocrites and Pharisees. So when you're not perfect and you're judging, I don't know what book you were reading, but Jesus was probably the grand marshal of my parade. I'll tell you that much. Like,
Absolutely, he is. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm still a practicing Catholic. I still go to mass, but not all the time, but with my mom. And we're having a real gem of a day today.
I
Hey,
know. We're having a gem of a day. You know what this is just proving to me though, Patrick, is that we have to we have to start a podcast. You need to start your own podcast show and I'm going to produce you.
yeah, I'm looking into it. Yeah, already. Yeah, and you're doing one. I really want to do one. I've started to realize that, I have that a lot of it's been a long ride to get to where I'm at, Jody, but I'm starting to realize that people are um, they're taking what I'm doing, they're noticing. They've been noticing all these
Yeah.
years, and I've just been so busy in what I was trying to achieve that I always forget about this fame thing, right? Because I never went into music to be
Yeah.
famous. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, like every day there's somebody, this guy, oh, that was a great interview, but you shouldn't have worn that shirt. And you're just like, really? Like, that's what every day you have to tell me something, but you hate me, but you can't stop following me for 5 seconds. It's like, it's just so
Yeah.
funny. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, but then you don't want to cut them off because you want to sell music to them, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's, oh, speaking of, I want to put this up. I'm working with the
Mm.
new Moonshine Mollies. Can you see that?
You got to
The
turn. There you
new
go.
group
Yeah.
I'm working with,
Ooh.
Cassandra and Brianna. They're two middle-aged women who are just, Cassandra's in her 50s and Brianna is, and they're going to be doing a duel. And I'm excited to be working with that, like that's part of the stuff too in country music, that ageism against women and all that stuff. If you're not, if you're overweight, if you're this, no, 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 that stuff is done. I'm sorry, you guys can't do
Yeah.
that anymore. It's not acceptable. And it's, like it, like I don't know how you in broadcasting, because I have really close friends, and there was men making decisions about women's jobs and like women's roles. And how does somebody who is not something, how do they know? They don't.
Yeah.
Like really. I don't understand that concept, you know?
No, there's some, yeah, I've got interesting stories from over the years too, for sure. It's
Yeah, I can imagine.
it's a crazy world. That's
It
why we
is.
just do our own thing.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
I'm
kind of
sorry today is so glitchy.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it is good, and I just wanted to, if I may, talk of one guy who was a pioneer in Canada, and I had the
Please.
honor of getting to know him at the end of his life. His name is Ted North, and he 63 or 64 years ago, he used to stand on the steps of which is now the Art Gallery, the Vancouver Courthouse, and there was a law then that you couldn't dress in, as a man could not dress in female clothing. You had to have three pieces of male clothing. So he wore two male socks for his chest and male underwear, and he stood there almost every day with a sign saying, "I am a human being." And he was terrorized, Ted. His name, address, telephone number were publicized 24 times on the cover of the Vancouver Sun. He was run out of 24 homes. He was shock therapy. He was institutionalized, and he fought to have homosexuality in this country decriminalized. And he started, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a thing in the gay community called the court system. And what it is there's drag kings and drag queens who they become emperors and empresses every year, and they raise money for charity. Well, Ted started that in Canada. So when Pierre Elliott Trudeau was the justice minister, when they did, and Ted would call, he was after him all the time to decriminalize, and he called, when he did, Pierre Elliott Trudeau called Ted, the first person, 1967, and said, "Well, Your Majesty, I've done it." And that was when the homosexuality, and most people don't, it was only 53 years ago in this country that it was decriminalized. And that's not that long ago, you know? And the
It's
thing
not
that
that
I
long
try
ago.
to do is educate the youth in my own community, because they don't even know the history of how gay rights came to be, and how these people that they call old men, well, they're the reason that you're even in that bar. When I walked in and met Ted, and he looked at me, and it was the last public appearance at the Cue Ball in Toronto, and it moved me to tears. I walked in the champagne reception. He said, "Oh, you're the young man everyone's talking about." I'm like, "Pardon me, sir, but you're the reason I have a stage and I can be who I am. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart." And we cried, but it's just, you always have to know where you came from to get to where you need to go, right? That's what I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's the first time
Can I
Ted's
freeze
been
on you
quiet.
again?
Hey?
Like this is your show today,
Oh,
friend.
wow. Well,
I love this.
there's just, that whole thing with the CCMA just really annoyed me. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and Do you know this whole thing about the in the Dean Brody and the Rec Laws and the Tim Hicks that there's homophobic scenes in their videos and been calling it out, and they won't. I've called all of them out. They won't. They won't take them down. They won't apologize. The Rec Laws and Dean Brody had a man in a what was supposed to be a woman's bathroom. I thought we were past gender bathrooms, but he's writing with his pants down around his ankles. I love Teen Brody. A woman looks under the stall and shames him, and they force him to run out with his pants down around his ankles into a packed bar, and everyone shames him for loving a man. That is not acceptable. And Tim Hicks, who was nominated for the top five in the videos of the year last year at the CCMAs, they had a scene 41 minutes into the video where he was hitchhiking the guy in the video, and this flamboyant gay man putting lipstick on picks him up, and they allude that he tries to molest him, and he gets out. That is not acceptable. And there's this constant thing going on in Canadian country music right now. And these are government funded grant videos. I don't know how this is happening. And I don't know how they think they don't have to respond. But it's like that, Jody. Still, when you're gay, well, whatever. We don't like. Who cares? It's like, well,
Don't be so
okay.
sensitive. You probably hear that all the time,
Well,
right?
I called
You're
my
so
buddy at
sensitive.
TD and I said,
Yeah.
"Do you know what you're sponsoring right now?" And he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." So I don't know what's going to happen, but then they do this next thing, and it's a really like I've turned my cheek so many times. I'm spinning, like that's been my life, and I try to emulate myself around my mother. My mother is all about charity and gratitude and kindness and humility, and it's been very difficult to do that. Even when I came back to the BC Country Music Association and came on as a director, that association in my early career was trying to ruin me. And when I did come back and I swept in, brought the level, brought an inclusion policy in, a code of conduct, became the face, brought CTV on. And my girlfriend, who's on the CTV Morning Live here in Vancouver, Carrie Adams, she said, "I don't know if I could do what you do. And Patrick, you have no chip on your shoulder, no ego. You're not pissed off." And I said, "Well, we lead by example. That's how we incite
Yeah.
change. If we're angry, we have to have the hard conversations, but there's still a way to do
Yeah.
it that's respectful and assertive and effective, right?"
Yeah. Oh, I think so. And I think that's where people, when they're trying to educate and learn and show, when it comes from a place of anger, that's what turns people away. Like that's what you're just like, oh, they're just angry. And you don't listen because you are pushed back by the anger. And so I love that. And I think that's what's great about the pieces that you've been doing is you're like, this is just, here's the fact, here's this fact, here's this
Mm-hmm.
fact, and this is what we got to do. You're not pushing opinion, you're not pushing agenda, you're just pushing love. This is what
Well,
matters, and this is how we care for people.
Well, I just want everybody. I don't, and really, I'm in the Drake Jensen's starting a scholarship thing back east. He's $7,000, $1,000 to. He's partnered with the rural Nova Scotia. I can't remember the name to give LGBT youth $1,000, and I'm partnering starting one out here because I don't want anybody to ever feel how I was made to feel, and I want the LGBT artists to have the tools that they need to get onto that level. So we're calling it the LGBTQ2 plus discovery recording artist discovery program, and we're gonna fine tune and pick, and we're gonna look for the best of the best. And there was a time when maybe they weren't at the same caliber, but that's no longer true. Like how Canadian country music, the Americans used to say
Mhm.
we weren't on the same level, but that's no longer true. So it's something that needs to be done. And when these young artists that I'm meeting, and I said, they're like, if I didn't have music, I don't think I'd be alive. And I said, you know what? I relate to it. I said, it saved my life when I was 8 years old and diagnosed with dyslexia and put in a corner to face the wall and said, you're such a bad reader. You can't be in any group. It broke my self esteem, everything. When I found music, it was the gift that, and then I knew I could always do that better than Jenny that got an A. She couldn't do what I could do. And it was everybody's gifted in their own way. Just let people shine how they're supposed to. It's not up to you to dictate what somebody else does. Only if they're harming other people, then it's like no. But these words and things that these politicians are saying, this what we just went through with Trump, that stuff is hurtful. Those kinds of things, like it is not acceptable. Not acceptable. And we have to get to a point where insulting people or putting people down. Do you know the serial killer in Toronto that killed 9 gay men and a trans woman? Do you know that the Toronto police, the detectives and cops said, oh, who cares? It's a bunch of fags and a trans. Who cares? We're not investigating. They let it go on for years, and they knew that members of the community were being killed, and they did nothing. So people think we're so far along, but we still have a long way to go. And I don't know how you, but have you ever had to wonder if you could hold your partner's hand on this street? Are you going to be beat up or killed? Or can you say, like, these are the kinds of things that when you're gay or part of the LGBT community that we constantly deal with because we live in a straight world, right? And it's like a lot of people say, well, I never thought of that. I'm like, because you've never had to. You've never had to. And that's part
Yeah,
of the whole thing with the Black Lives Matter is that's what they're trying to accomplish and say to people is it's the exact same thing. You've never had to. You've never ever been treated like that. How would you know? So
we have
shut up
no
and
idea.
listen now. Stop talking and listen to them. That's what we need to do right now, right?
Yeah, we need, yeah, to start listening. That's the key piece. And I think I like that you bring up the hand thing. The other day as I was talking to a friend of mine who had said that he's actually moving out to Vancouver. So I want to introduce the two of you
Okay.
because you would just love him. But he's moving out there with his partner, and he said, when we went to Vancouver to look for apartments, he goes, it was the first
Yeah.
time we've walked down the street and could hold hands, and I didn't stop holding his hand when somebody walked past me.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? That's
And I said,
the
what do
difference.
you
I
mean?
didn't
I
feel I
because I was
got
like,
gay bashed when I lived in Calgary. Did you know that?
yeah.
It was not
When
safe
he
there. I
said,
mean,
yeah, he said in Alberta, like he goes, probably, Jody, he's like, if you are walking down a path and there's two men in front of you, they were probably holding hands before you were a certain amount of feet up to them, and then they'll stop because they have to. And I just was blown away, obviously, because I have never experienced that. But I was just like, that still happens where you have to. And so I was like, my mission, I'm going to make them hold hands and kiss right in front of
people
me.
drive
Like, let's
down
do
Davie.
this. Like, I was so sad.
It's so people drive down Davie still and they scream homos, faggots. Like it's brutal. Like there was one of the members of our community last year who was almost beat to death walking home from the bar, like right across from St. Paul's Hospital. Like I think he still has permanent brain damage. It is, and this rise of this, whatever this stuff is, it's not right wing, it's not conservatism. This is purely evil hate. Whatever this, I don't even know what to call this stuff because it's not okay. It's not like anything I've ever seen. Like the fact that they won't admit there was an insurrection, it's like, what? Because they were white? Like, what? Like, it's bizarre.
It's
Like,
coming from brokenness, Patrick. It comes from the broken.
well, there's a lot
And
of, I think, broken
yeah,
men in our society, and that was the my second last record, the Men, the Man, and that. Listen to that song. If you guys haven't downloaded my stuff, go listen to that song. It's very poignant, and it's about if there's nobody there to build the boy, who's gonna mend the man? You know, know, and this young boy sees his dad walking away when he's 10, and he's leaving everything, including him. And he's wondering what he did. And then his mom never meets a guy. And when he's 20, he sits her down and he says, you know, Mom, was it because of me that you didn't? And she said, oh, no, I never met a man good enough for you. And then he healed, he realized. But there's a lot of men in our society that, you know, why they're shooting people, why they're broken men. And I think it's a big problem. Or, you know, the way that women were, like Jane Fonda, there's a couple really good documentaries. Like, I'm a total feminist, so I like love watching these. And she said, you know, I was always told, like, be a good girl or you're a bad girl, and I never did anything wrong. What did I do wrong? Like, and that was the whole conditioning of women, right? Like,
Yeah.
also, like, I hate how women are controlled sexually. I think that's BS. Women should be as sexually free as they choose, and they're not sluts and whores if they do. That's not
Yeah.
acceptable either, to shame them. Men can do anything, you know? No.
Yeah.
Pigs. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I love your I'm just like, we are capturing this somehow, but we should probably wrap up just to be
Yeah,
conscious of
it's been
people's
40
time. And
minutes.
I
Well, we have to
apologize
do it.
for the
Yeah, it was fun.
glitch of
But it's good to
our
see you. I mean,
connection.
you know, like I said when
Yeah.
you were off, I said you've been an ally to me, Jody, for a long time. You had me on your show when a lot of people in country music would not support me, and I've always appreciated you and your candor and your sincerity. So I don't know what else to say. I'll start crying.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. And well, you know, Patrick, that's the thing is from it didn't matter to me what your sexual orientation was. I saw this beautiful person who loved singing and was so passionate and created great music. And I'm like, the world needs to hear this. I don't
Yeah.
care about the rest of the shit. I care that you are a human that is beautiful. And then watching what you've done, because I mean, it's been a long time. I don't
Yeah,
like
it
to
has. I
date
was
how
trying to
long we've
think
known
like
each other.
when that was. Yeah. The sun, it was Sun Country, right?
Yeah, and in
97.7,
the
was that it?
beginning days. Yeah,
Was that
the beginning
97.7?
days.
Oh no,
99
that was
7.
not my beginning. I mean, no, no.
Well, it was the
Yeah, it
beginning
started.
days of Sun Country, not you.
Oh, right, right,
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's been
Well,
a
I
hot
remember
minute.
we couldn't even talk. You're like, you can't say alcohol. You can't. I was like, oh my god, like what a bunch of.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then every other
there's
country song is
reasons
about
why
booze. It's like what? You
we
know
do
the
our
funny
own
thing
thing
too. I'll
now.
end
Yeah.
on this is when I was 15 years too early because I wanted to be like the male Shania Twain. I wanted to entertain. I didn't want to
Yeah.
stand behind my guitar and you know. And they're like, you can't. And they literally would tell me, you can't do that. That's too faggy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But now what are they all doing? They're all in their women's jeans dancing around the stage. And I said, well, I guess I was just
Yeah.
ahead of the times, you know, like
Just a
so.
trendsetter, Patrick. Okay. Well,
All
thank
right,
you
well,
so
good to see you.
much
Thank you,
for
everybody.
sharing
Please reach out
and
to me anytime on any
educating.
of the platforms. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. We are going to
And
have you
I'll be
back
back.
on. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Give a big cheers to everybody. And I
Happy
just want to
Pride,
remind
everybody. Yeah.
and I just want to remind you before we sign off that we are so glad that you are here. Friends, thank you for tuning in. Please remember that you are an integral piece of this world and we are a better place because you are here. So thank you. Have an amazing rest of your Friday and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning. And thank you, Patrick.